Hi, this is Braden Holtby.
Hey, this is Tanner the Bulldozer Bozer.
Hi, this is Brian Burke from Toronto, Ontario.
This is Daryl Sutter.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carly Agro from Sportsnet Central.
This is Jay Onright.
This is Quick Dick coming to you from Tofnell, Saskatchewan.
Hey, everybody. My name is Theo Fleury.
This is Kelly Rudy.
This is Corey Cross.
This is Wade Redden.
This is Jordan Tutu.
My name is Jim Pattison.
Hey, it's Ron McLean, Hockey Night in Canada and Rogers Hometown Hockey, and welcome to the Sean Newman Podcast.
Hey folks, welcome to the podcast. We got a great one on tap for you today. Before we get there, let's get to our sponsors. Clay Smiley and Prophet River is a retailer of firearms, optics, and accessories serving all of Canada. They specialize in importing firearms from the United States, hard-to-find calibers, rare firearms, special editions. Check them out at profitriver.com. Foremost, they offer smooth wall grain bins, hopper bottoms, fuel tanks. They're in stock and manufactured locally. They want to ensure you know they are constructed of the highest quality and engineered for a long life. Delivery is free within 300 kilometers of Lloydminster. You can buy at any of their co-op locations, Lloydminster, Lashburn, or Neilburg. For more information, check them out at their website, foremost.ca. HSI Group, they are the local oil field burners and combustion experts that can help make sure you have a compliant system working for you. The team also offers security, surveillance, and automation products for residential, commercial, livestock, and agricultural applications. They use technology to give you peace of mind so you can focus on the things that truly matter. 3902 52nd Street, or give them a call at 306-825-6310. Lauren and Art and Soul, the lady who changes your heirlooms into something that can hang on the wall for the rest of time. I always talk about my jerseys, but she does just about everything. It doesn't matter what you bring in, whether it's a jersey, a photo, artwork, you name it. She's framed it, and I guarantee she won't disappoint you. She loves hearing about your idea, your special item that needs to be put in a frame and hung up to make it look superb. So stop in today. She's open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 1639th Street here in Lloydminster, or give her a call, 780-808-6313. It's more than just a frame. It's a story. Gartner Management is a Lloydminster-based company specializing in all types of rental properties to help meet your needs. Whether you're looking for a small office or a 6,000-square-foot commercial space, give Wade Gartner a call, 780-808-5025. Mr. Tracy Klotz and Titus Tools is a locally owned business, which Tracy formed back in 1997. He's got the 40 years of experience in the oil industry, really smart guy, and he's a guy that's tapped into the talent of Lloydminster, constantly reaching out and trying to find which ways he can help, whether it was Andrew Maveritas or, buying some of Brandy Hofer's artwork or hopping on the podcast. He's remained loyal to Lloydminster and the surrounding community and continues to invest not only in the local talent, but the local charities and fundraisers. If you're interested in finding more about Titus Tools, head to titustools.com. Have you spotted the SNP billboard here in Lloydminster? If you have, the shout-out goes to Read 'em Right and the amazing mind of Deanna Wandler. Thanks again for all that you guys do over there. If you're heading into any of these businesses, make sure you let them know you heard about them on the podcast. And if you're interested in advertising on the show, visit SeanNewmanPodcast.com in the top right corner. Hit the contact button. Send me your information and just, a little bit of, hey, I'd like to see what I can do on the podcast, and I'll get back to you. We got lots of different options, and I want to find something that can work for the both of us. Now, let's get on to your T-Bar 1 tale of the tape. Originally from Hillmond, Saskatchewan, he is a pro fishing guide in the Northwest Territories, has caught fish all over the world from New Zealand, Thailand to the Northwest Territories, has driven truck all across North America, and frankly, he's just one interesting individual. I am talking about Mr. Kyle Callbeck. So buckle up, here we go.
This is Kyle Callbeck, and welcome to the Sean Newman Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. Got Mr. Kyle Callbeck joining me.
Hello.
He has no idea what he's in for, folks. Never listened to a podcast in his life. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, essentially, all we're going to do is sit and have a conversation. That's it.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you drive truck, listen to talk radio, but can't be convinced to put on a podcast.
It's not that I can't be convinced. It's just I've never tried it. I guess maybe I'm lazy. I don't know. Just
What's your favorite talk radio? What are you listening to these days?
honestly, it's not a common thing, but it's whenever I do listen to it, it's fine. I don't really have any sort of preference.
You're not really a talk radio guy then.
I guess not. I'm not totally sold on it. No, it's not an everyday thing.
He goes, I'm a talk radio guy. Well, now he's saying he's not a talk radio guy. Well, you're a big hunter guy, fishing guy.
Yeah.
I sound like Don Cherry there, eh?
Yeah.
Guy. Anyways, I think as far as podcasts go, like I was saying, you can literally pick anything you want. Boom, there on your phone.
Right.
Have the most interesting guy on the other side of the planet telling you about catching some walleye wherever.
Right.
Wrangling it in.
Yeah. I got to give it a try.
I sound like a complete moron when I'm talking fishing, aren't I? Well, let's talk about you a little bit.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Well, give the listeners a little taste of Mr. Cal Callbeck. What you're originally from? Well, we grew up from the same place, Hillmond, Saskatchewan.
That's right. Yeah. 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 Down on the 4 Mile and went to school there, and I don't know. I don't know.
You're not a typical. I mean this in the most positive way. Maybe you are typical. I don't freaking know. We all grew up playing hockey and living, breathing, dying. Senior hockey, whatever hockey it is. And from a young age, that ain't you.
No, I did Tom Thumb, and that was the end of it for me. I hung up the skates there.
You remember what that was about? You're just like, screw this ice.
I guess it just wasn't there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just didn't have any sort of drive, no passion for it. So
would rather take a chisel to the ice than skate on it. Because I mean, I've heard stories about you coming back from being up north where all you do is fish. You get home, you say, hey everyone, okay, I'm heading out to Turtle Lake and do some more fishing.
Yeah.
What the heck is it about fishing that you enjoy so much?
Oh man. Geez, I don't know if I could put any one thing that's I like being outside, always have. I guess they're just, you try to convince yourself that it's just a stupid fish. It's just, some cold-blooded idiot creature. But sometimes it doesn't really. You don't really want to admit that sometimes when they're hard to catch. I don't know. Sometimes there's a bit of a challenge there, and I guess that's what I like.
Oh, you got an uncatchable fish out there that you're waiting for?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple that have come across my path that have been
snap lines, that kind of thing?
Yeah, or just, come up and almost take, but don't. And those are the kind of fish that wake you up at night.
The old lady, feels you fidgeting around. That fish again, hon? Yeah. Bastard.
Yeah, seriously. Man, yeah, there's been a couple.
So it really gets your blood going when you're out on the lake.
Yeah, I've kind of bounced back and forth between being a hunter and a fisherman pretty much my whole life. I was really into hunting when I was from say 8 to 12, 13, back fishing. Then I did a hunting stint again. But the thing with hunting and fishing, you can be a hunter who fishes or you can be a fisherman who hunts. There's a difference there. And I love both, but I have to admit that I am a fisherman who hunts.
Oh, so you're the guy who puts fishing in front of everything.
Yeah, I guess.
So you're constantly on the look then for the new frontier, the new lake, or do you go back to the same hole after the same hole?
Well, you can kind of plateau in a way if you just kind of keep going back to the same old stuff. I think with anything, a guy should always be trying to improve. So if you just keep doing what you may get to a point where you're not improving anymore. So I kind of like to get my ass kicked, and I actually really like to get skunked because that means there's more to learn. That's another thing I really like about it. There's more to learn.
I'm going to enjoy this. Ass can kick you, or ass can kick you. Fish can kick your ass.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
Not even have one Pilsner in, and I can't get it straight. What is this? Is this regulation? 5%?
Yeah, I don't know. I got it at Tate's, so.
Old Robbie.
Yeah, that's right.
Fish. So fish. You think fish can kick your ass?
Yeah, I mean, you think you know it all, and then you go out somewhere, and then you pound the water for 10 hours, and you don't get nothing. So, I mean, obviously, I don't know it all.
And now you got to go back, right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't catch something, you're going back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always fish are always biting. That's been my philosophy my whole life. They're always biting. So if I don't catch any, that's because of me, not because of the fish.
So what do you do the next time you go out?
You go home, you think about it. You think about it on the drive home. I don't know. It sounds insane, but it really is it's just such a huge part of my life. So I guess I have time to think about it.
Does it really sound that insane? Me and your brother Jaden were talking earlier, and he goes, we have our differences, and I was like, oh, what do you guys argue about? And he said, well, he likes to fish, and I like to chase the puck around the rink at late hours of the night. And I'm like,
Right.
well, is it any more insane that we play a game where it's grown men with kids at home and no fans in the stands, and we're out there whacking and fighting and calling each other whatever to chase a little piece of tin that...
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, a normal person would think you're insane.
Well, I tell you what, people from not this area probably do. I
Yeah.
mean, Saskatchewan's kind of a senior hockey hub, but
Yep.
after that, you get a little further away. Everyone's kind of like...
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think you got to have something that gets you up and gets you going.
Guaranteed. Yeah. Yeah. You got to have something no matter what it is.
The old podcast, Cal Nichols, if he ever listens to this. You know who Cal Nichols is?
Actually, no.
He's a guy from Paradise Hill who owned a business, St. Walburg. They've retired his jersey there, even though he never played for them. But he helped save the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay.
He's my great white, the one that got away, the one that hasn't, that still haunts me at night, gets me up, wake up. Cal Nichols.
The great white buffalo.
That's right, great white buffalo.
There
Thank
you go.
Yeah. Well, the guy's super successful from our area. Can't get him on.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I get it. You got to have something that drives you.
That's right. Yeah.
So where have you been? I mean, you've caught fish all over the bloody world.
Trying. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I guess it all started out in just kind of any family trip. It was always, we had to camp somewhere where there's somewhere to fish, blah, blah, so started off innocently enough, and then got my license, started doing longer trips, started fishing in Manitoba and stuff, in high school, and fishing northern Alberta, blah, blah. And one thing leads to another, and I'm working at a fishing lodge in the Northwest Territories, and I've been there for 5 seasons now. So
blah blah. I'm fishing. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back here. So
Okay.
you start venturing off to different lakes and fishing by yourself after growing up as a childhood of fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going by yourself? You taking guys with you, or is it a little bit of each?
In those earlier trips, it was mostly with mostly with a couple of buddies, or 2 of us or whatever. So yeah, guys from high school or guys from work or whatever. So.
And is that still the case, taking guys, or do you like a solo adventure?
I like both, but for different reasons. I like the social aspect of fishing for sure. I like the I don't know.
That Pilsner's getting to you,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, I'm gassing up here. Holy. But I also like when you're doing it by yourself, there's kind of a pressure goes away where you can kind of do whatever you want. And again, it comes back to trying out different things and seeing what works, what doesn't. Because I don't mind being skunked. So it's nice to try things to see how I can't catch fish. So I like the social aspect, but I also like doing it alone.
So when you say you're trying things and you get skunked, what are some things you've tried out on the boat by yourself to try and lure fish in?
So obviously the best time to do this is when the fish are going crazy, which can seem counterintuitive, but when the fish are not biting, it's probably best to stick to what works. So when the fish are really going is when I'll try things that are different. I'll maybe try hooking 2 lures together or trolling really fast, 6, 7, 8 miles an hour. Maybe I'll try jigging in a spot I haven't done, or I don't know, just any sort of way that I can vary it up from the norm just to see. And then if it doesn't work, if you're pounding fish and then it all of a sudden stops, obviously, no, that's probably never going to work if you're out there on the best day possible.
What's the best thing you've tried that you thought this will never work and it worked?
Well, I actually can't take credit for it, but the first year that I was guiding, the 2016 season, a guy who was up there, who's actually a good buddy of mine now, he took a Believer, which is a muskie crankbait. A muskie is it's like a jack, it's like a pike. It lives out in the east. They get really big. The world record is a little over 70 pounds or somewhere around there, depending on who you ask. There's a lot of fish tales and stories and things with that, but it's a musky crankbait, the Believer, and it's 13 inches long. It's jointed, so there's 2 pieces to it. He cut the back piece off the Believer and put on a 16-inch curly tail grub. So hopefully people can understand what I'm saying, but hooked together, you've got something that's about 27 inches long.
Which is ridiculous.
It's insane, yeah. I thought right away, I mean, I don't know, maybe, but he'd been guiding for a few years before me, and I was like, can't hurt. And he built a couple of them. We took them out, and man,
it worked.
They slay big trout.
So what's the biggest fish you ever caught?
Actually, that was this last summer up there. There's 2 lodges that we're bouncing back and forth on. The guy I work for bought a lodge from the bank that hadn't run in like 9 years. So we were there doing some renos. This is in the Southeast Northwest Territories. Yeah. And
that's a lot of directions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's holy.
That is the entire compass. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, we were out there this summer. It was early August. I got a 35-pound lake trout there, so that was pretty cool.
What do you do after you catch the biggest fish of your career?
Man, I'm almost jaded because the fishing up there is just insane. Pretty much anywhere in the Northwest Territories, but
well, that's because nobody wants.
It's pretty untouched.
That's right.
Yeah. So I've been pretty jaded. We all get a lot of 22, 25, 28 pound fish. So it's cool to be able to do that. So it takes a lot to get me excited now. But man, after that one, my knees were shaking and I had to sit down. It was wild.
Did you enjoy a few sarsaparillas that night?
Oh yeah. As long as the sarsaparillas are around in Guideland, the sarsaparillas are going down for sure.
Do you ever run out of sarsaparillas while you're in Guide Town? Oh
yeah. Yeah, sometimes everyone's a little twitchy till the plane comes in.
You hear anything? No. You sure?
Yeah, got the shaky hands or whatever.
What took you up north? Like, you just stumble on that?
You know, it was always something that I wanted to do. When I was probably from 15 to 17 in high school, I bet you I applied to, honestly, no word of a lie, I bet you I applied to 80 different lodges in Saskatchewan, trying to be like a dockhand for the summer. And no one would hire me because all of the seasons in Saskatchewan start before school lets out in the summer, and they end after school starts again. So they wouldn't hire a high school kid because I'd have to miss school, and they want someone for the whole season. So my brother's wife, Kelly Callbeck now, her sister Brittany went up there the year before me, and this was in 2016, or she went up in 2015. This is obviously thinking back when the patch was like really slow.
Yeah.
I had a good job here, but it kind of dwindled down to, 6 to 8 hours a day. It wasn't really what it used to be. And so I said, hey, would you put in a good word for me? And she said, yeah, of course. And rest is history.
And so, just loving it up there?
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It really is. Yeah, I can be picky about a couple of things. Like, it at the end of the day, it still is 3.5 months in the bush, and you're ready to go home at the end of it. But it is awesome. I love it.
What's some of the, you're talking to a guy who hasn't been in the bush and I love everything about my life. But there is some, would it be fun to go up north for a couple weeks? Sure. Mm-hmm. I think it sounds very adventurous and fun. Mm-hmm. Right? So what are some of the things that are just stick out? Like, man, this is unbelievable.
Well, I guess one thing that takes a bit of getting used to because of the latitude, we're far enough north where we've got about a 2-month. Jeez, I got to slow down.
Or speed up, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. Because of the latitude, in the summer, we've got about 2 months of, it doesn't really get dark. The sun does barely set, but...
Does that fuck with your head?
It does. You got to, especially when you got to get up in the morning, you've got to make sure that it's dark when you go to bed. So lots of tin foil on the windows for sure. But it's beautiful. It's great, man. 12 o'clock at night, it's like daylight.
Doesn't that mess with your brain, though?
A little bit. I'm used to it now. But if you've never seen it before, yeah, it's a lot.
It just feels like, I love a long day. But I still like the sun to go down and get dark. Yeah, it's a little light outside, but you put the blinds up and, it's kind of like whatever. It's like when you go to a hotel in the city and the lights never go down and it's irritating, but you're like, it's still nighttime, right? You look out,
right.
The sun ain't up.
That's right.
You're telling me the sun never goes down. So you can't even just be like, it is 10:30 at night because it's kind of over there. It's like, if I didn't have a watch on, I wouldn't have a clue.
No. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Around June 21st, you go in, you go to bed at, say, midnight. The sun is about 15 minutes away from setting. And then it rises again at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it just goes out of sight.
That'd be cool to see, though.
It is. It is cool, yeah. It's kind of adds something to it. And then you kind of get the flip side later on, because we fish into September. And the days get so much shorter. By the time we leave there in September, they're quite a bit shorter than they are here. So it's dark at, I don't know, 7:30 or something. And again, because of the latitude, you get so much for Northern Lights. The Northern Lights up there are just insane.
Well, explain insane to me. Because, if you take a person from, let's think about this. Who was, crap, I'm forgetting right now. Scott Hartnell from Lloyd.
Yep.
Played for the Philadelphia Flyers. Used to take kids from Philly and take them to, I want to say, Minnesota. And that'd be the first time they'd ever seen the Northern Lights.
Right.
And I went to school in Wisconsin, which is right beside Minnesota, and I always thought that was, lack of a better term, batshit crazy. How haven't you ever seen the Northern Lights, right? We come from a place where on a good, tonight might be a good night to see the Northern Lights.
Absolutely,
It's almost prime conditions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you're saying they're insane.
It's insane to the point where there's a market for the tourism in the Northwest Territories for that. There's I want to say there's something like 50,000 Asians that go through Yellowknife, which is a town of about 25,000 every winter just to see the Northern Lights and the quality of them.
Isn't there good luck in that, though? Don't they believe something along the lines of, I'm sure I've heard this before.
Making babies?
Making babies under the Northern Lights, right?
Right. I have heard that too. I've heard conflicting stories on that.
Oh, you're saying it's bullshit.
I'm not saying it's bullshit. I always thought that too, and I have heard that from pretty much everyone, but... So I don't know. I have heard from a couple operators up there that maybe it depends on their nationality. They deny that. They say they just go to look at it. I don't know. I say China must be a pretty boring place if you fly halfway across the world to look at that. But it is good. It is really good.
Think of a place with billions of people, though.
Yeah, you'd be ready to get out.
You got to kind of remind yourself at times that we're pretty spoiled, right?
We really are.
You know, like the things we got going on here, don't get me wrong, there's some frustrating stuff going on. But at the end of the day, like, go down and see my in-laws in Minnesota. Love going down there. And Minnesota isn't one of the busiest states. But the one time we drove 4 hours across to Wisconsin, see one of my wife's friends, well, a college friend, right around American Thanksgiving. And I believe it was the night before American Thanksgiving that we were driving back. And it was bumper-to-bumper traffic for 4 hours. Not like stressed me out.
Man.
And I drive all the time. Except the drive from Lloyd to Edmonton is almost a joke now that you've experienced something like that.
No doubt.
Well, you've taken a truck all over the place.
Yeah. Cruised around a few places in a truck for sure.
Where's the sketchiest place you've been in a semi?
You mean like...
I mean like traffic, like what did I do coming down here with a big rig? Not like, holy crap, they're shooting up heroin or...
Not like that.
Not like that.
You're talking traffic.
I'm talking traffic, not Hastings Street in Vancouver.
Right.
Have you taken a truck down Hastings Street?
I haven't been down Hastings itself, but I have drove all over Vancouver in a truck with a Super B, which is 2 trailers together, of course. So that's got to be up there for sure. That's insanely busy out there. It's actually, the lower mainland doesn't even really feel like Canada. Like it's different out there for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I've been turned around a couple times, especially when I was younger. I got lost in Regina once. There was some really tight corners and a couple of fingers coming out the window and stuff, but I survived. So there's been some close calls, but it's been pretty good. I would definitely say Vancouver's been the worst traffic though.
Well, we just came back. Just came back from Vancouver,
Mm-hmm.
and I was saying that Dad's a guy who's driven all across Canada in a semi and through all types of weather and everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got talking about driving. Like, can you imagine driving a semi down this place? Like, it is like the traffic there is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And what do you do, right? Like,
there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do.
You're in God's hands at that point.
That's right.
Right? Like,
literally.
Throw on some talk radio, throw on a good podcast, and just
Amen.
enjoy all the fingers coming at you.
That's right.
Act like they're waving at you, but they're not.
They're not.
No,
No,
they're pissed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you betcha. So.
Have you you've hauled on the ice roads, haven't you?
I did do a season on the ice road. Yeah.
What was that like?
This will probably surprise you. Of all the kinds of trucking I've done, that was easily the most boring job I've ever had.
Just because of speed and safety and...
Yeah. I do like safety for sure. I think it has a place, but the safety up there is insane. It's over the top. And also, like you said, the speed. When you're going loaded up to the mines, you're allowed 25 kilometers an hour until you get to the halfway point, which is called Lockhart Lake. Then you're allowed to do 30 kilometers an hour for the final half of the trip.
So if you're listening to this, slow down to 30 kilometers an hour and see how fast you're going, man.
Yeah, and do it for 17 hours.
17 hours?
Yeah. Imagine driving to Edmonton at 25 kilometers an hour. That's what we're doing.
So how far is it?
It's about 225 Ks to
In?
Diavik, yeah.
So what do you do? Just camp out on the ice?
You can camp at...
Or just put it on autopilot and go for a nap?
You can camp at the halfway point, Lockhart Lake. There's a camp there. You can go in, get supper. You can park there. Or you can park at the mine. They want you to park at Lockhart, but what I would always do is I'd go all the way 17 hours up, sleep there, and then you've got an 11-hour day coming back, because when you're empty, you can do 60, which after doing 25
feels
for a
like
day,
you're Mario Andretti.
Man, seriously, it's like almost too much. It's scary. Serious.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it was a good experience. I don't know that I'd do it again. Maybe if I had my own truck, but I wouldn't do it as a driver.
Wouldn't do it as a driver?
No. Because you're supposed to get rich, but you don't. Just like most other kinds of trucking.
They tell you promises and it never comes through.
Yeah, it never comes through. So there's one big company up there that I won't name. Like if you look it up, you'll know who it is. But
They're probably listening to this podcast right now saying, yeah, you won't name it.
That's right. But they kind of control it now. And yeah, the rates have just gone down a lot. So it's not, you would make more money here as an oil hauler than you would on the ice road. And you'd have 10 days off here a month versus 2.
You get 2 days off a month?
The way the permits are there, they let you work every day. 16 hours is legal. They will let you work every day as long as you take every 15th day off.
Oh, man. You want to talk about being out in the bush and going a little catty.
That's right.
How do you survive that?
I don't know.
How do you survive that without talk radio or something to get you through it? What are you doing in the truck for that long?
Well, I did have talk radio. There's XM because you don't get any radio stations up past Yellowknife. But had XM, there's a couple of stretches there where even you can't get satellite radio along the line. So, but what everyone was doing then, I don't know what they do now, but once you get into a big lake, like for instance, McKay Lake, it's about 3 hours to cross. You just get one of those, those old like flip up DVD players with the TV built into it. Put her on the dash.
You're only at 30. If you bump anything, it's not like you're doing any damage anyways.
That's right. Yeah. And it's so funny because of the way, just from the pressure of the trucks driving over the ice all the time, as the season gets on, the ice gets more and more stressed. It's safe. The guys come out and flood any big cracks like they do at the rink or whatever, right? Any damage they look after. But just the pressure of all the trucks driving on it, you will get like big chunks of ice like the size of a suitcase, and they'll like spit up onto the surface of the road. So
while you're driving?
Yeah, it'll like come up behind someone or come up, 50 yards ahead of you because of the wave or whatever, eh? So you just dodge it and keep on going. Which sounds sketchy, but they wouldn't let us do it if it wasn't safe. It looks insane, but
Did you ever catch that on a video? You should have been Snapchatting that.
I never seen it, but you do see little like puffs of snow and stuff. But so what they do, the grader comes along. Oh, a big 50-pound chunk of ice in the way. So he blades it off to the side of the road, and then it snows and fills that hole in with snow. So you're driving along, watching the TV on the dash, and you drive into like a divot, and then boom, TV goes flying, your lunch goes flying, coffee's everywhere.
Couple of choice words.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that was insane.
So do you just like buy a full set of the Gilmore Girls or something and just like, man, I got 17 hours. I'm going to power through seasons 1 through 8 of this. And
something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
What was your go-to? What did you...
Well, what I did for a while, I did regional in Western Canada with a Super B flat deck. So we hauled basically from Kenora, Ontario, west to the coast. And we went everywhere. So I hauled anything from lumber to steel to shingles. It was kind of you name it. So I was hitting truck stops pretty much every day. And if you actually want some cheap movies, truck stops are not a bad place because you can just go. So they have like the 3 for $5 or something. You go and pick it up with the Flying J. So I actually had quite a collection.
The Flying J down here in Edmonton, they got a great movie selection.
That's right. No joke. Sherwood Park. Check it out.
So what? Wait, you're like, oh my goodness, they got what in, and you're just like, that's it.
Yeah, because I'm not picky. It's like whatever. It's just something to pass the time.
You're probably a better movie connoisseur than anyone out there.
Maybe used to be. I don't know. I'm not a big TV guy now. We don't have TV at the lodge, so.
So you read, you drink, you smoke?
No, not really. I mean, I do when I'm drinking.
Yeah?
Yeah, but it's like whatever. Yeah. So, I don't know. I stay busy. I fish.
Do you enjoy that when you go up north and like technology is just pretty much useless?
Yeah, like we do have Wi-Fi there, which is actually nice. Like that would be a long time to be completely disconnected. But it's nice not having no TV and, basic. Like we eat good meals, but like as far as snacks and stuff go, that's all pretty basic. Just kind of goes to show you how little you need to get along.
As long as you've packed enough Pilsner?
Mm-hmm.
I'd hate to see what that plane looks like. One little duffel bag, and then the back is just green.
That's right. Hey. It's actually kind of sad because all I do drink is pill, but up in the territories, nobody
has
touches
pills.
it. So you go by at the liquor store, and it's probably been sitting there for like 2 years. It's
Still tastes good.
it's not bad, but it's not like it's from Tate's, that's for sure.
You just bought a plane.
I did, yeah.
Is that something you've been doing? Like, did you just, yeah, screw it, I'll go buy a plane, or you've been flying lots?
I got my license. I finished my training in May of 2016. So I've been flying as a licensed pilot since then.
June 2016. So essentially 4 years.
Yeah, I
A
guess.
little over
yeah.
4 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the first time by yourself? Because I assume at the beginning you're flying with somebody, just like you would. But eventually they got to go, here's the keys. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Don't crash.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it's a minimum 25 hours of dual instruction. So you're with an instructor. And then there's, I think,
How many hours?
25 of dual. So you need a total of 45 hours in an airplane minimum to get a pilot's license. 25 of those need to be dual and 15 need to be solo. So you've got to make up your 10 hours some other,
Way.
Yeah.
Doesn't that seem not like a whole lot?
It took me 2 years to do it. So, I mean.
So it is a lot. Then.
Yeah. When you're paying $165 an hour,
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
Like, I don't know. Honestly, I thought it would be more too. When you say it like that, oh, it's 45 hours. Oh, you could bang that out in 10 days.
Well, yeah, like I go, well, for an hour, he's not making you, okay, we're going to pull up, and then we're going to land. And then we're going to pull up, and then we're going to land. Like, he doesn't do that. He makes you take off, and then you fly a little bit.
Yeah, you fly around, you practice stalls and, like, emergency management. A lot of it is, like, engine outs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there is, like, what they call circuits. So you land, go up, turn around, come back, touch and goes. Do that 10 or 11 times in an hour, and there's your hour. So
Okay, so let's fast forward then. You get through all that. Now it's your first time. Here's the keys. I assume the heart had to have been just hammering.
Man, because it's no joke, right? Like, it's up to you. You're 1,000 feet in the air. So,
But at the same time, so fucking cool.
yeah, it was cool. That's something that you never forget.
Where'd you fly?
I got my license at Border City Aviation in Lloyd.
But where was your first solo trip? Like, could you fly only so far from there, or?
Yeah, usually as a student, like, you'll just do kind of local stuff. A lot of it was just circuits, so just right there at the airport. I did do one of my cross-country trips. You've got to do a couple of cross-countries. One of them for sure has to be alone. It's been a few years, but yeah, at least one. I went up to St. Paul, over to Vegreville, and back to Lloyd alone.
Landing in St. Paul, or just over,
Yeah,
back?
land, get off the runway, come back on, take off, land at Vegreville, same thing, back to Lloyd.
What's the St. Paul airport like?
It's quiet. It's quiet.
Can you get Betsy to move? I need to land this thing.
That's right. Yeah, no, it was something. Yeah, I haven't been back since.
So you bought a plane.
I did, yeah.
So where you just want a tour, or?
Yeah, I mean, the kind of flying I want to do is, again, it rolls into fishing. I want to ice fish with it, and I want to put floats on it and take it to lakes and take it up to the lodge and do all this. And yeah, you just can't really do that with a rental. Like, they don't put skis on them. And I mean, if you're going to be taking a plane off an airport, it may as well be yours, right? I mean, I don't know. What is a plane? I feel like I'm a complete and utter moron on this. Somebody's going, yeah, we know. But what does a plane cost? Is that a big, like, are we talking like $100,000? We talking $20,000? Yeah, there's so much that comes down to what you want, and they always say to, like, fit it to your mission. So if you want to fly to work in Calgary every day and be able to make it back through the rains and whatever, blah, blah, storm clouds and whatever, yeah, you're probably more in that 125 plus range. But if you just want to dink around like me and fly around when the sun's out, you can get into it for, honestly, anywhere from 15 to 50,000.
No shit.
Yeah. It's reasonably affordable.
If you want a plane with duct tape on the wings, 15 grand. Here you go. I got something for you.
That's right.
Here comes Kyle. And
That's right. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, mine was definitely lower end on the cost, but that's what I want. It makes it more like a motorcycle or something. Then something a guy can afford to dink around with and not do anything crazy with. But
well, I shouldn't say you're the only guy. I do know one other guy with a plane, but it's just not very commonplace. Dad had his pilot's license.
Right.
But it seemed like everybody back in the day had their pilot's.
I would agree. Yeah.
Now it's, well, how many people you know that have a pilot license? You probably know a couple.
Well, I know a couple, but they're all involved there, right? Like, as far as buddies, like
Nobody.
I don't think anybody.
No, we all think it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You doing what? Oh, Saturday I'm just gonna grab on my plane. I'm gonna fly over here and land it on the water.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
Try it out, anyways. Yeah.
Probably try a new style of fishing where you just dangle the line out and I'll troll along that way, see if I can catch a fish.
Yeah, if I can catch one out of the airplane, that's
Hell, I
perfect.
might come to watch that and just film it.
Yeah, there you go.
You probably have a couple new forms of wakeboarding behind that. You've probably already done that before.
Jump in, we'll try her out.
How about, I think it was, could have been Lance, could have been Darcy. Somebody told me that you've been to, and now I'm going to torture this, driven all night to get to not a Led Zeppelin concert, but something along that lines.
Alice in Chains.
And then you've been to Tomorrowland.
Yeah, kind of the full spectrum there, eh?
I kind of like that. I enjoy the as I look at both my hands, I enjoy the full spectrum. But that's opposite ends.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the only further you get is maybe like you went to a piano, opera house.
Yeah, never been there, no.
I bet you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, probably.
I probably enjoy it as long as they sold a cold pilsner and probably sit there and tickle the ivory, right?
Yeah, see you there.
Yeah. What was Tomorrowland like?
It was nuts. We 2013 we went there. It's a huge music festival in Belgium. At the time they sold 200,000 tickets for a 3-day event. So it was 200,000 people there over 3 days. And they got about 15 stages going. They got every kind of electronic music that you could imagine. I don't know. It was just kind of something for everybody. And yeah, it was nuts, man. It was cool enough that we went back the next year and did it again. So.
Well, that was like the PG version. Yeah, there's only like 200,000 people there, and like insane.
It was nuts. Yeah, it was like just light shows and
What drew you to go to Tomorrowland? What was it like? It's not like you drove over to Regina and went to Craven, right? Like
No.
and did that. No, you flew across the world and like what was it about Tomorrowland?
Oh man, because they put out a big after movie every year after it, and I think a few of us seen it on YouTube because I think there was four of us that went, and we just were like, man, we should check that out. And it's so hard to get tickets there. Like in 2013, the first year we went, they sold 200,000 tickets in less than 1 second. Completely sold out.
1 second.
We had like 4 laptops and 3 phones going, and we got through on one of those devices to buy 4 tickets for us.
Think about that.
It was nuts.
That hurts my brain.
I know. Yeah, it was crazy. So, and we'd never done anything like that before. We were just, I don't really listen to a bunch of electronic music anymore, but we were just getting into it at the time, and yeah, it was nuts. It blew my mind, honestly. It was crazy.
What was the part that blew your mind the most? Was it just the people?
The people and
the setup?
Yeah, there's like, pyrotechnics, I guess, and just like lights and noise. It was like insanely loud, and just the party. Like I was 23 at the time, so I was, ready to go.
What was, we've all been to a very good party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Gone to the house party, you've gone to the concert, you've gone to a good party. Everybody has a good party, boom, something pops up in your mind.
Yep.
Kevin Ritchie's house, grade 12. Couldn't get in the house here in Lloyd. Fantastic. Shout out to Kevin Ritchie if you ever listen to this. Right? It was fantastic.
Right.
But somehow I just know that is not Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
So paint a picture for me as a guy who will never go to Tomorrowland, but has seen the after hours video of like the shenanigans that go there, and I'm like, holy man, this seems insane.
Right. Yeah. It's oh man, the first year we went, there's like camping on site, and they put up rows of like identical tents. It was like, because it's all like, I don't know, it was like a forest sort of theme. So there's like mushrooms and ferns and shit on these tents, and all of them, there's like probably 10,000 of them there for people to stay in, and they're all identical. So you got to remember your row, and you got to do this while you're loaded too. You come back, you got to remember what row you're in, and you got to remember how far down you are. So like you get back, I got back one night with Ryan Golfus. We were staying in one tent, and there's this guy passed out. And I go, hey man, like you're in my tent. You like got to get out of here. And he's got a French flag. He doesn't speak English. He's like, oh, fine. Gets up, runs away, leaves his shoes. He leaves, and I start looking around. It was his tent. It wasn't mine. I was in the next row over. So I ran this guy out into the bush for nothing. So hopefully he made it back. I don't know what happened. But just the people, man, it was people from all over the world. A lot of Europeans. The Belgian residents get priority. They get like an extra 10 minutes to buy their tickets because it's held in Belgium. So a lot of Europeans. I mean, like I was single at the time. There was some girls there. Like it was insane. It was all just over the top. Imagine. I don't even know how to put it into words.
You're a guy who's we were talking before we started. You've gone different places.
Mm-hmm.
You've frequented in one place where is like my dream place to get to, which I wanted to do, and then it just hasn't happened yet. But you've been to New Zealand.
I have been, yeah.
A couple times.
Twice, yep. Mm-hmm.
And you just, how did you pick the spot? Did you just, we're going to go here, or did you have a connection there?
Well, how it started, a guy that I guide with, he went there, came back, we guided the season together, and he was like, man, it's nuts. Like, you'll love it, because obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but there's a lot of rivers there that are full of some very big, very nice trout. And me being a fisherman, and him too.
You went to New Zealand to go fishing? Of course you did.
Yeah, of course. So he's like, you got to check it out. And not only that, it's just awesome. The people are great. It's pretty similar to Canada culture-wise. And Amber, my girlfriend, she wanted to go too. And we're like, well, let's check it out. And turns out it's actually really easy for Canadians under 35 to get a visa to go there. So we pretty much just paid the $200 and we were
I
there.
should do it here in the next less than a year. 34.
Yeah, do her, man.
After next year, it's going to be a pain in the ass.
That's right, yeah.
So, how long did you go to New Zealand for at a time?
We went there for, I want to say 5 months, from January to May, the first
you're a
time.
prick.
Came back, went guiding, and then pretty much went straight back. My dad lives in Thailand in the winter, so
Right.
stopped there on the way and spent 10 days in Vietnam and went back a second time.
Did you fish in Vietnam?
Oh, yeah.
What's fishing like in Vietnam?
It's not like here. It's not like, I wouldn't even chalk it up to Little Fishing Lake. It's pretty quiet. Like, there's a lot of people, right? And there's no limits, so there's not really a lot of fish left.
What do you, little babies then? Little tiny fish?
There was some, I honestly didn't do a bunch of fishing in Vietnam, but we fish in Thailand all the time. And a lot of that is just stocked ponds where they'll stock them with tilapia, which you can get at Superstore. They spawn like 3 times a year. They're really prolific. Once they're in somewhere, you can't clean them out. So we fish like that quite a bit there.
go back to New Zealand for me, would you? I'm bouncing you everywhere. The listeners are probably like, man, this is hard to follow. You're in New Zealand. You're in New Zealand for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
You work?
The first time we went, we didn't really work a whole bunch.
So what the hell did you do for 5 months?
Drive around, fish, check some stuff out.
It's an island.
Man, I thought the same thing. From the north tip of the North Island, there's 2 main islands in New Zealand. From the north tip of the North Island to the south tip of the South Island is 1,600 kilometers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The farthest you can be from the ocean on either island is 120 kilometers. I thought, man, we're going to have this case in a week. This is going to take no time at all. Until you go there and the mountains and the hills and like you're not doing 110 kilometers an hour anywhere in New Zealand. You're doing more like 40.
Beautiful.
Oh, insane. Like you think like Banff or Jasper is crazy? Not even, man. The mountains are just so much more rugged, so much more. It's insane there. It's beautiful.
So brings me back. So you went 5 months without working.
Mm-hmm.
So you just tour around, enjoy life.
Toured around a bit, yeah. I did end up getting, because again, I'm a truck driver, and I was like, well, maybe I could do some driving over here. And I ended up getting my New Zealand Class 5, which is equivalent to Canadian Class 1. And I hauled some grapes for the wine harvest over there, because New Zealand produces a lot of wine.
So you're hauling grapes. How was that?
It was nuts. You haul it in an end dump, so the harvesters kind of come and shake them off the vine and spray them into your thing, but a lot of them are into the bin, but a lot of them are broken, so they move around quite a bit. It's quite watery. You need
grapes.
You need a sealed end gate so they don't leak out of the back, and it's like hauling water in an open trailer. You got to be very easy on the brakes. You can't accelerate very fast. Yeah.
While you were driving that, were you going, well, this is one for the resume?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I did think that. I was like, maybe that'll be interesting to someone at home.
Did you try a couple of the grapes? Did you hop over the back and?
Oh man, I ate grapes till I started to look like a grape.
How good were they? Were they like, compared to our grapes?
There's wine grapes and then there's table grapes like we eat. Wine grapes all have a lot more sugar in them, so that alone makes them, I don't know, I think taste better because there's just a lot more flavor there and they're not like as watery. But they're insane, man. Straight off the vine. I'm from Saskatchewan. Never had grapes on the vine.
And we have potatoes and meat.
That's right.
That's what we eat.
Yeah. Wipe a steer out in the fall time. That's it. Yeah.
You ever think of moving back here?
To Lloyd?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the community here, and I like going to the rink, seeing everybody. I like all that stuff, but I don't know if there's a whole lot for me here. Like, I'll never haul oil again. Those days are behind me, and
you found what you like. You like the touring, the guiding,
Yeah, I guess I just kind of, I don't know. I just try to make it so I don't have to work my ass off to make it. I try to, not that I'm lazy. It's just I just don't want to sit and haul oil and then be 50 and, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just don't know that there's much for me here.
I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people would like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it goes back to the thing I have on the wall, right? Like, it's a quote from Joe Rogan podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I got to turn around. It says, whatever time you have, attack like you're trying to save the world. And what he was talking about was chasing your dream. And
Mm-hmm.
for Joe Rogan, he started as a comedian, and he works his way. Now he's getting like $100 million to do a freaking podcast, which just blows my mind.
Right.
And they get talking about if you were to do that at 50,
Mm-hmm.
right? He goes, well, if I did it now, because he's 50 or he's 52 or 3, he's like, it wouldn't work. And the woman's like, well, why? And he's like, well, I got kids, I got a wife, I got bills, I got all this stuff.
Right.
Which makes me have to sit in a semi and work 12-hour, 16-hour days and go back home and do it over and rinse and repeat because I need that income coming in. And when you
Right.
need that coming in, you can't see around the problem, because the problem is just like crashing on you every single day. Like,
Right.
need to get out there and make the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I definitely I did get sucked in for a while and then just started doing this, and it's it's been good. It's been kind of refreshing, and everyone that I work with up north it's kind of cool to see that, because you just meet people who are kind of the same mindset. It's like, I'm not lazy. Don't get me wrong. I do like a 12-hour day. Like, I like driving and hauling whatever, but yeah, I just don't want
It's the
to.
type of work is what you're after, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
I mean, God, I kind of want to see the Northern Lights up north now.
They're nuts, man. It's
Colors?
The colors,
Dancing?
blues, purples, yellows, reds, the whole sky moving over, swirling around. It's insane. It's nothing like you've ever seen here. It's great.
Gonna have 50,000 Canadians hauling ass up there this year.
That's right.
We can't go anywhere else.
Yeah, hopefully you come up. We didn't really operate this year, so we need somebody up there.
Are you excited? You're excited to get back up there?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's great. It's nice to have a breather, but it comes up fast. Like, we'll be back there before I know it. So
Like, you're on the bird. Where do you fly to Edmonton?
fly from Yellowknife.
But where do you drive to Yellowknife?
I drive there, yeah, just because I got quite a bit of shit. Quite a few of the guys fly, but I like the drive.
How far of a drive is Yellowknife from here?
It's about 1,800 kilometers from Lloyd.
Yeah, that's a haul.
Yeah, I used to do it in a day back when I was 19 and living there, but I don't do it in a day anymore. That's too much.
What is like the major thing when you come back from there to here? I sound like a complete moron to people way up north, but I feel like you're coming back to civilization, even though that's not true. What's one thing down here that you're like, oh hell yeah, I get to do this?
Well, there's really nothing, because we get separated from Yellowknife because we're 200 kilometers away, right? The fishing lodge is a long ways. So even coming back to Yellowknife is a huge culture shock, which sounds crazy because Yellowknife is not a place where you get culture shock. But, just being able to go to Tim Hortons or, liquor store or, whatever, go to Walmart. It's like, you kind of feel bushed if you stay up there for 3.5 months, and it's like,
But that's what you do, is stay up there for 3.5 months.
Yeah.
What day of the 3.5 months do you just know that you're going to start going a little batty?
We call it Strange Og. We fly up there in the beginning of June, guaranteed by the 1st of August. People are starting to get a little snippy with each other.
At each other.
Oh yeah, because it's a lot, right? It's
How many? I should have went deeper into this. Now you got me thinking about this. How many people are at the camp?
staff.
Yeah,
About 15.
15 of you
Mm-hmm.
living up there for 100-ish days.
Yeah, 100 and 110. Yeah,
And how often are new guests coming in?
every 6 days.
So you get a new group of rich people coming up there, because this isn't like you pay $200 and get on a train and you're there.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's pretty. You got to be committed for sure.
How are those guys? How are your clientele? Are they awesome? Or are they or is there certain ones that are great? Or
Some weeks are longer than others, for sure.
well, I mean but
Yeah.
you can have. That's anyone's job.
Yeah.
Right? You got certain, but overall, it's good.
Overall, they're great guys. Yeah. It's one thing that surprised. Well, no, I won't say that. A lot of guys are a little bit inexperienced, but I only say that because I fish 200 days a year. I live for it. And a lot of these guys have real jobs and lives and stuff, right? And they only fish 6 days a year, and that's with me. So it's easy for me to be a little bit too critical, and I do remind myself of that. It's
Oh, you didn't know about the 27-inch frickin' lure? What have you been doing?
Yeah. And they really, it's just a vacation for them. So as long as they're having fun, then it's all good, right? That's really the most important thing.
Have you had anyone out there that you're like, holy crap, that's so-and-so from so-and-so where?
I haven't taken, I better think here. I don't think I've taken anyone like famous or anything like that. No. Just a lot of it's, you'd be surprised. Like some guys are not super loaded. They take a week off every year and that's what they spend their money on.
Yeah, they like going remote and fishing and getting some big fish and everything else.
Yeah. Some of them are pretty blue collar, honestly, like comparable to people you'd meet here for sure.
You want to talk about blue collar? I saw, maybe red collar. I saw a picture today of you with a deer strap to the front of your hood and a camper on the back. And I thought I'd only see that in Wisconsin. Yeah. I remember driving by that and being like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, no, that
anything and everything.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about your travels and the fishing, but your hunting escapades are pretty funny too. Like, I mean, you had no room. You didn't want to jam the deer in the...
Basically, yeah. What it was, I was up hunting. I was moose hunting in the late season. So this is towards the end of November, up north of Paradise Hill in the Bronson Forest. And I woke up. I can't remember why, but I decided not to hunt the last night moose hunting. I was going to drive back to Turtlefoot country and hunt some deer because I had to work the next day. So I drive back and I was staying in a 3/4 ton with the truck camper on the back, like you said. Drive back, not thinking, end up shooting a pretty nice deer and walk back to the truck to go drive over to it and load it. And it's like, shit, there's a truck camper. Didn't even think of it until I got back to the truck.
You're too damn excited.
Yeah, it's like, what am I going to do now? So I ended up dragging it over those cages that they put around old wellheads so nobody runs them over. Those like little rectangle things. I drove to a lease and nosed the bumper up against one of these cages and basically wrestled the deer up onto the hood and tied it down with some cord I had.
That would have been a great video. You should have, I mean, nobody's ever going to think of this, but you're like, this is probably the most ridiculous thing I've done in my life. I should probably videotape it. Like there's this guy out there freaking.
Yeah, man. It was an act for sure. So.
How about hunting? Where? Up north, do you go hunting as well then? Or are you just around here? Because you said you're a fisherman. If you were to put it, you're a fisherman who's a hunter.
Yeah, a fisherman who hunts. Yeah. So we don't hunt up there at all. No, it's different in the Northwest Territories. It's not like a reserve, but the native people there have kind of like the rights to it. It's not a real reserve, but kind of in a way. So, and there's not really that much to hunt there anyway. There's not that many moose. There's almost no caribou left. So yeah, just don't do it.
So what's the predominant wildlife you see up there?
Bears and moose are reasonably common, but not as much as the bears. You see lots of those.
Black or like grizzly?
Blacks, yeah. No grizz there. For some strange reason, there's grizz north, south, east, and west of there, but not there.
I heard a story about you today.
Did you?
About holding a door back from a bear.
Oh, no.
Is that true?
It is true, yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Because I almost called bullshit when I heard it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, holding the door and the bear's scratching. Well, let's have it.
Yeah, it was the week off, how they used to schedule it. It's
This is at the fishing camp?
This is at the fishing lodge about 3 years ago. So there's a cabin that the native community, there's a small village at the south end of the lake of about 500 people. And Laclamart is about 80 kilometers north to south. So they built a cabin at the far northwest corner of the lake to stop at overnight on their way to their caribou hunting grounds in the wintertime. So there's a cabin up there, which we use quite often just for shore lunch. And if it's raining, jump in there, jump out of the rain, blah, blah. So we decide that we're going to spend the night, me and someone else, we go up there. Because this is this is the week off that they'd scheduled. So there's no guests. It's just the guides. And so we go up there, two of us, cook up some pierogies, catch a couple fish. It's all good. Go to bed. 6 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and there's something like brushing. And it's funny, they put a door, like a real door, on the cabin, but they didn't put a doorknob. So there's just like a hole for the doorknob to fit into. And I am looking at that and it's starting to get light. And that hole just turns black. Can't see outside anymore. It's like, oh, okay. There's no door lock, obviously, like it doesn't latch. So they've just got a chunk of hockey stick about 6 inches long, nailed to the door jamb with a nail so you can turn it sideways, keeps the wind from blowing it open. I'm looking at that hockey stick and he pushes on the door and like bends that nail half open. Thankfully, I had a gun with me, so I jump up out of bed in my underwear, slam the clip in it, and go and put my arm up against the door. And this bear still doesn't know that we're in there. And he gets up. We see in the tracks from the mud on his paws later, he gets up and starts like pushing on it like this, pushing me back, trying to get in. So I start hammering on the door, like, hey, and peer through the hole, and he's backed off. He's on the deck now. So I open the door and he kind of somersaults back, scream at him, and he takes off. I didn't know what to, I'm glad he took off because I would have had to shoot him. Glad I didn't have to. So it's like, oh wow, that was crazy. So go back to bed. 15 minutes later, there's a little gap in the plywood beside my head where they put the walls on. And I look and there's like 4 claws coming through the wall, coming at me. He's trying to pull the sheet of plywood off me. Pound on the door again or pound on the wall, and he takes off and he never came back.
He came back?
Came back. I couldn't believe it.
Came back and right beside your head.
Right beside my head. I could see his claws coming through the plywood.
Well, I'm sorry, Lammer. When you told me, I was like, I don't know. Holding the door. Seems like it's straight out of a movie.
It was, man. It was insane. Just another story, eh?
Well, that's what you live for, right?
Yeah.
You live for a good story.
That's right. Yeah.
We all live for a good story.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
Stories in Pilsner, that is.
Amen.
So, you're in New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
and COVID-19 breaks out.
Right. So, yeah, the second time we went there, which was this last time, we showed up in late November or maybe early December. We pretty much worked the entire time. I drove. I was working for a guy that I met the grape harvest before. I was driving from the very top of New Zealand down to Auckland and another town, Hamilton, hauling produce, watermelon, blah, blah. All this COVID stuff starts happening, and it was like almost surreal. Like, I think everybody could agree. It was just such a crazy reality of what was happening then. And flights were getting canceled and things were happening. And, you know, the Canadian government put out a notice to Canadians, get home, we need you back. And we were in the middle of the grape hauling season. I told my boss, I was like, hey, like, I hate to skip out on you and leave you short, but like, if I don't go now, I don't know that I'll be able to go. And he was pretty understanding. Yeah, take off, go. So we left on super short notice and flew from Wellington up to Auckland and made it home. Yeah, flew from Auckland to Los Angeles, up to Calgary, and drove home from there.
What was the airports like?
When we were still in New Zealand, Wellington and Auckland, this was just before the crash, so it was actually like packed. There was people everywhere trying to get home, doing the same as us. And yeah, I remember the first time I saw a person wearing a mask was in Wellington Airport, and just shake your head like, what are you doing? Like, this is strange. And like, obviously now it's par for the course, eh? And yeah, I'll always remember that. We were like trying to check in, and I seen some woman walking around wearing a mask, and yeah, it became the new normal, I guess.
It's pretty. What do you think of it now? Because I mean, like, now that it's, I don't know, it's the new normal, right? Like, back then, I mean, sitting here, it was not. We're in the SaskAlta finals, and the games get canceled. Think about that.
Yeah.
Like, think about that.
Mhm.
We're supposed to be going to St. Walburg, of all places, and they're telling us you can't play because people are going to be there. You're like,
Right.
the heck is... No one, COVID knows better. It don't want to go there, right? It
That's
doesn't want to
right.
go to Hillmond, Saskatchewan, right? Like, I
No.
mean, but that's exactly fact.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's nuts. It's obviously gotten, as time has gone on, it's been harder and harder to keep people on board with it. Like you talk to anyone and there's more and more people saying, oh, it's a hoax. And I think that's just because it's been too long. Everybody was on board with it right away. So I don't really know what to say about it.
It's hard because in the beginning everybody was on it, and then things come out, and now you have information coming from every which way saying it. You name it, they're saying it.
That's right.
But the longer you go and have things like, well, you can go to Walmart and get groceries, and there are people running everywhere. Some of them, supposedly, you're supposed to all have masks, but you don't all have masks.
Nope.
And then you tell a rink where you could spread people out. No, you can only have this amount of people in there, and it's as big as Walmart.
Right.
And somebody's going to pick me apart on that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you're like, but over there, they're doing that. Why can't we, right?
That's right.
Doesn't it function with the same rules?
Mhm.
It's a disease. Right? Like,
Yeah. A lot of it doesn't make sense.
a lot of it, but that's more than likely the people at the very top don't know how to handle what the hell is going down.
Yeah. Yeah. Guaranteed. Maybe it's some complacency, or I don't know. Maybe they're sick of it too, trying to like make everything work. I think a lot of it's just these crazy like blanket regulations, and there's that overlap where it doesn't really make sense.
Oh no, it's trying to paint everything with one brush.
Yeah.
And then you go to Hillmond, Saskatchewan, and you've painted it with the same brush. And you're like, we're Hillmond. Yeah, no, we social distance at all times. Like, just let us have our bar back open and let the kids skate, and we'll be happy.
That's right.
You just take your crazy and go somewhere else.
That's right.
Right? Like, if we didn't have to follow anyone else, that's exactly what would be going on.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's it, man. Like you said, it's just going to be, the longer it drags on, the fewer and fewer people are going to be on board with it. Because when are we going to go back to normal, and what do we need to go back to normal? I don't know. I understand that people are getting sick, and that sucks. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say that that's not important, but it's like, I don't know. When do we go back to normal?
I don't know what normal is anymore.
I know, right?
You know what's crazy about it is, when did it start? March?
Mm-hmm.
We're in the month 7.
Right.
Like 7. Like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a long ass time.
Man, tell me about it.
I can only, we were talking at the start, you were saying with, it sounds crazy that you think about fishing when you come home, and you're thinking about it. But right now, they're like impacting senior hockey. Well, you can see from the room, I enjoy some hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And to think Hillmond may not have senior hockey this year because of this just absolutely blows my mind. That you can't have a group of guys go and play a game of hockey, and like, it hurts my brain.
Right.
Yet, I don't know. Man, that's a dark rabbit hole to go down.
Oh, man, yeah. There's no easy answer. I guess we'll see what comes of it, but it just sucks that everybody's kind of sitting around waiting for something to change, and there just doesn't really seem to be any parameters or guidelines of what that's going to be, so.
You're just excited to get back up north where they probably think about this less than anyone.
That's right. Well, I mean, we didn't operate this year because the border's closed, so hopefully next year is a different story.
That's, that border closing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about that. Like, that's almost hard to fathom as well. And saying that, people are still crossing it though.
They are, yeah.
You know, like you can still go across the border.
Mm-hmm.
You just-
I don't really know the ins and outs, but I think if you fly, it's supposed to be easier. There's supposed to be ways around it. Like, I don't know.
It's that self-quarantining for 2 weeks that kills someone.
Yes.
I mean,
guaranteed.
doesn't actually kill someone, but you know what I mean? Like, how do
Yeah.
you
How do you
how do
take
you-
a week vacation and then...
and then turn it into 3,
yeah.
right? Like stuck at home where you can't see anyone.
That'd be brutal.
Oh my God. Like,
I had to do it when I came back from New Zealand, but I just went to the lake, so it wasn't bad. I could fish, but I mean, if you're sitting at home...
you
man.
quarantined by fishing?
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Guaranteed.
Where's one place? I was wondering this. I interviewed Judy Reeves. She was in the Perfect Storm. Was out on fishing boats out on the East Coast and West Coast for that matter. You know, when I heard you love fishing so much, have you ever thought about like ocean fishing, deep sea fishing? Like, are you like,
Like commercial fishing?
I don't know. Sure.
No. I like it to be fun. So when it's not fun, it's not good.
Do you go fishing on the ocean though?
Well, in New Zealand, I did. We're a long ways from the ocean here, so I don't really get the chance.
Yeah, we're on. Yeah, the grass is an ocean out here.
That's right.
What's the biggest fish you caught down in? No, not the biggest. What is the most unique fish you caught down in New Zealand? You had to have caught.
There was some weird stuff that I didn't know what it was. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty good at identifying stuff, but there was a few where I was like, I don't even know what this is. But they've got like the snapper down there are kind of different than the ones they get in BC. They're like a little bit more pink, and they've got a great big, almost like flat forehead, and I don't know. It's hard to describe. They're a very odd shaped fish, very deep bodied and very compressed, and those are kind of crazy. Got a shark off the
Caught a
shore
shark?
in Wellington. Yeah, night fishing. We were waiting to catch the ferry. Actually, the ferry from the North Island to the south leaves from Wellington, so waiting for the ferry and caught a shark. So that was kind of cool.
Like, how big of a shark we talking?
I was about a 36
I think of
incher.
like Jaws and like eating your boat shark.
No,
We need a bigger boat.
no, nothing that impressive. No. He was like a 36 incher. It's called a carpet shark. He lives on the bottom. It was like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
nothing special.
Harmless.
Yeah.
He's got a shark name, but he's a puppy dog at heart.
Exactly, yeah.
He was just looking for a friend.
I thought he'd be good eating, but he wasn't. He was terrible.
You hate him.
Yeah, I did, yeah. We were pretty limited budget, remember? Like that first time we went there, we didn't have a lot of money, so.
First time you went to New Zealand, you ate that. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, I bonked him for sure.
What did he taste like?
Oh, man, you're just kind of tasteless. It was a nice white meat, but it was just soft, and yeah, it was just shitty. I don't know. There wasn't really much to him.
Oh, you know, I've eaten some odd things in my time. In your travels, you've definitely eaten some odd things. Now, a shark off fair.
Mm-hmm.
What's some odd things you've eaten?
The first time I went to Thailand, we went downtown. There's like kind of a touristy area down at the beach, and the guys are down there selling grubs and grasshoppers and scorpions and crickets and all that shit. And I mean, and ants. I mean, you got to try it, right? You got to do it once.
So did you try them all?
Tried them all.
Okay, so you got ant, grasshopper, scorpion.
And like some kind of grubs. I think
Okay,
that
and
was
grubs.
the 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And?
The grubs, I don't know that I'd get them again, but honestly, they weren't bad. Weren't terrible.
Like, they'd be juicy, wouldn't they?
Well, they deep fry the shit out of everything
Oh, yeah,
down there.
okay. So all
it
you
was
taste
just-
is grease.
Yeah. Some seasoning, salt, you know. I mean, it might taste like rink fries. I don't know. Rink
What
fries
do
are better.
they deep fry on a scorpion?
Hey?
Like a scorpion? You said a scorpion, right?
Yeah.
What the heck? They just deep fry the scorpion?
The whole thing, yeah. Honestly, of the 4, that was the worst by far because it's too thick to get crunchy. It was like still juicy inside. It was disgusting. And of course, us being stupid, the way it works in Thailand, you get a price for something before you get it. Because if you don't, then it costs whatever he wants, right?
Right.
So we didn't ask, and it ended up costing, I think it was like 200 baht a piece, which is like $8, which is like you could buy like 4 beer with that.
This little bastard cost me 4 beer.
Yeah, and it was terrible.
Isn't that crazy? You could just eat a scorpion.
I don't know where they get them, or like, I don't know. I'd like to know how that, like,
Stinger off? Like, is he like flayed or something?
you keep the stinger, like that's what you hold, and then you eat the rest and rip it off.
No shit.
Brutal, man. It was insane. Wouldn't do it again.
Wouldn't do it again? Wouldn't recommend it?
No.
No. Listen, you listen to this. You travel there when the borders open up. You try a scorpion. You report back, because no way can you hear that and not try it.
That's right. Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't stop you, but I'm not gonna sing the praises.
What's your favorite animal to hunt?
Moose.
Why a moose?
It's just, moose are just this kind of a solitary animal, and I don't know. They don't follow trails. They just kind of like to be alone. So you can't hunt trails. You can't hunt them on bait piles. Like, you got to go in the bush and find him, and then you and him have to cross paths. It's just a kind of a one-on-one sort of game.
Bow, gun.
I have bow hunted. I haven't bow hunted since I started guiding, because to be good with a bow, you got to be using it all the time. When I was bow hunting, I would practice 4 days a week, so every second day. And I think you just kind of have to do that, or else at least I noticed I wasn't as good, and I don't think it's fair to an animal to throw arrows at it that you can't hit, you know. I hope no one ever hits me in the guts with an arrow. So yeah, I haven't bow hunted since I started guiding, but I have bow hunted a lot in the past.
That's an interesting comment. Hit an animal in the guts with a bow and you're not dropping it.
I don't think that's cool. I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. And hunting being what it is, I mean, sometimes it happens, right? But you do your best to avoid it.
Put it down quick.
Yeah, I don't think that you should shoot at anything unless you know you can kill it. Know you can kill it. I don't know. That's just me.
You know, a moose is maybe... I used to tree plant, only for a very brief time, but I did tree plant. And a moose is maybe the most graceful animal for its size that I've seen out in the wild.
Guaranteed.
Like, the big sucker was... The only reason I heard it, tree planting, like, think about that. I'm out in the middle of the wilderness by myself, sitting there tree planting or going away. There's nothing else out there.
Nope.
And the only reason I heard it wasn't because of the mom going across in front of me. It was because of the young one bawling behind, trying to keep up.
Right.
And I was like, what? And I looked, and the big one was like, I don't know, 20 feet ahead of me, just like...
Right there.
So graceful going through the bush. It's crazy.
It is. You look at a moose and he almost looks like he's made of spare parts. He got a big gangly nose, you know, he doesn't look like he's graceful at all, but he's perfectly adapted to the places they live.
I think it's a pretty animal, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of nice that we got him down here. It was so rare even 10 years ago. Now they're kind of everywhere, so it's cool.
What do you make of that? That there's just everywhere. Migration?
I guess, yeah. Like, they've even got them, like North Dakota's even got a season now from moose in Canada moving down south. So I don't know what to explain it. Some guys say it's wolves chasing them, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Have you ever hunted wolves?
Never. You can in Saskatchewan now. They're a big game animal.
They're a big game animal. They are. Yeah. I've heard they're tricky.
Yeah, I think they're very smart. Yeah.
We used to have them. Well, they still have them. Who am I kidding? I used to live on a acreage outside of Dryden, and wolves were there like coyotes are here, right? You know, at night out on the farm, you have the coyotes, and they call them whatever. Not a big deal. Like, I mean, who out here is scared of a coyote? Nobody. They're just here.
Yep.
But there it was wolves.
That nuts.
It is an eerie feeling.
Yeah.
To wake up to the wolves howling and they're, you know, on the other side of the fence from the place.
No doubt, man. Yeah, that's nuts. It's been a while since I've been to Dryden. That's out there. Would you go back?
Dryden?
Yeah.
I loved my time in Dryden.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun in Dryden. I lived with a really, really good family there. I think that probably, obviously helps the memories of it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about that area. That's where I tree planted.
Mm-hmm.
Something about just kind of being out in the wilderness. And, it's a town of city, whatever you want to call it, of 8,000, 9,000 people. Maybe it's a bit more, maybe it's a bit less.
Yeah.
But realistically, it isn't like it's Edmonton or something, right?
No.
It's secluded.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's in the bush. It's nice country for sure.
Oh, a
Yeah.
beautiful lake there.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of an ice road in the wintertime. You can skip across the lake and
There you go.
hop to the other side.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
We did some good ice fishing there.
I could imagine. Yeah. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Well, I've kept you here. We've been going at it for an hour and 20 minutes.
Not
We
long.
should do the Crude Master Final Five. Just a quick. We'll see if I can cook up 5 questions for you.
Sure.
And shout out to Heath and Tracy McDonald if you're listening. I was going to ask you if you would take a rod or the gun, but you've already explained that you're the fisherman. So would you take a lake or the river?
I'm definitely more at home on a lake. So I think I'm better at fishing on lakes. But again, it comes back to I kind of like getting my ass kicked because there's more to learn. So I do like fishing rivers. But if I want to go somewhere and just kind of settle into it and go and do it, it's definitely a lake for sure.
Definitely a lake.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the more to learn. I think that's something for life.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to keep learning.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about fishing, you're talking about anything else.
Anything. Yeah.
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 If you could take, and I'm probably going to get you in hot water here, but if you could take one person go fishing with you, who would you take?
Oh man. Bugger. I don't know. I honestly, I couldn't. Honestly, yeah, I don't know. If I had to pick one person, I think I would
That's
just
a
rather.
terrible question.
Because I really enjoy going alone, so I think I'm most comfortable there. I don't
You
know.
enjoy going alone fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What is it about being alone that you enjoy so much?
You can just go and do it, and you don't have to worry about, like if I take you out and we go to somewhere and then we go 2 hours or 4 hours without catching anything just because I'm dinking around. Well, it's like, I should get my shit together and we should go somewhere where we can catch something. When it comes down to like big fish or like hard to catch fish, sometimes you're only getting one bite a day in 10 plus hours, right? So
You don't know me very well. You take me anywhere and we pack enough of those, I probably just enjoy it. Phone don't work, perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think this could get any better.
Yeah.
I don't even have my rod in the water. It's just yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'd be good then. I don't know.
No pressure. That's what you like about it.
That's right.
And
yeah.
not even no pressure. Not having to worry about it.
Yeah, and just being able to experiment and try different things.
But isn't that the fishing guide part of you?
I guess, yeah.
Because I got to assume your brothers hop in. Sure, they want to catch fish, but same token, it's I don't know. I've been in a fishing boat lots with the old man, and if we aren't catching anything, it's still enjoyable.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Yeah. So I think you're right. It's probably rubs off just from having the pressure because when you pay $4,500 for 6 days, you want to be catching fish pretty constantly, which I can understand. So, I guess that probably just comes home with me.
If you could go fishing anywhere that you haven't been, where do you want to go?
I would really like to fish on the Tree River in Nunavut and also Great Bear Lake in the Northwest Territories.
Why those two places?
The Tree River is full of what you call Arctic char. So it's kind of a relative of brook trout and lake trout and things like that, splake things. So the Arctic char, when they're in their spawning colors, they're dark green on top and like a fire orange belly. They're just, the spawning colors are insane on them. They're beautiful fish, really hard fighting. And Great Bear, Great Bear's just got lake trout, but they're the biggest in the world, like 40, 50, 60 plus pounds. So,
Holy crap.
yeah, it's insane. A few of my buddies guide there. I do not guide there. I'm about 200K south of there, but they get some beautiful fish.
Have you ever thought of guiding there?
No. I like where I'm at, and the guys who come to fish with us, they're not looking for that, because on Great Bear, you don't really get the action that we get. We can get, my personal best day on Lac La Martre, we got 18 lake trout over 20 pounds, and we went for shore lunch. So you're talking about like a 6.5 hour window of like fishing. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That was awesome. So we're lucky we get some pretty good ones. Lots in that 20 to 35 pound range.
I ask this of all my guests, but if you could do this, pack a case of Pilsner, sit down, talk with anyone, who would you want to sit across from?
It's a good question. Yeah, geez, I guess it would be like maybe just someone, maybe not even anyone in particular, just someone that you could learn something from, like someone that's done something that you want to do, like maybe a guy who has been to the Tree River, maybe someone who's, been moose hunting in the Yukon, or I just like interesting people, man. I don't know that I've got any one person in my mind, but I just like talking to interesting people. It's cool to get a good story, I guess. Maybe that's not the answer you're looking for, but
I always find it curious who people find interesting.
Yeah. No, nothing really off the top of my head, but there's, people who do cool stuff, I guess.
Final one. Shout out to Lance and Jaden. If now that Lance has kind of fulfilled a forward role, I'm sucking you in the hockey world. Got to get one hockey question in. And Jaden, I should back this up. It was like game 4 of playing with both your siblings. And, how does this even go? Lance gets in a fight, gets suckered. I can't even remember. And off went the mitts, and Jaden lights a guy up. Or they were both lighting guys up. Who am I kidding? Your two brothers like to throw the mitts. They're fun to watch. Like, they go.
Yeah.
Now, if we had a line of Callbeck, I'm sticking you on a forward line. Don't care if you're a goaltender or a defenseman. Are you the first guy in to the fight, or are you the third guy into the fight?
I'm the third guy. I'm not even going to lie. Guaranteed, yeah. No, just stand back and let it unfold. See what happens.
Jaden's got this. He's got two guys. It's all good.
Yeah, I think it'd be Lance first, but who knows? Depends. Maybe it depends on the situation, but it wouldn't be me.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming and sitting down, and a man who never heard a podcast finally on a podcast.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you having me.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me some Pilsner drink.
Yeah.
It's been pretty fun.
Guaranteed, anytime.
Cool. Well, thanks again.
No worries, man.
Hey, folks, thanks again for joining us today. If you just stumble on the show and like what you hear, please click subscribe. Remember, every Monday and Wednesday, a new guest will be sitting down to share their story. The Sean Newman Podcast is available for free on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you find your podcast fix. Until next time.